So if this were the 90s, I would say the juice is loose. I'm reminding you that was the phrase that was used back when OJ was acquitted of the first trial that he faced in the murder of Nicole Simpson.
Nicole Smith,
Nicole
not her.
Brown,
the three names,
Simpson.
yes.
Okay, so but today,
Golden.
a unanimous vote ruled that O.J. Simpson does get parole. He is set to be released in October. He spent more than 8 years in prison, which was a piece of the sentence that came down, which was originally supposed to be 33 years.
Right.
If you guys don't remember what happened, he was convicted of armed robbery in a Vegas hotel in regards to getting his sports and memorabilia back from a couple of dealers. So that came down. He was sentenced to, like I said, 33 years, but now he is set to be released in October. There were 4 people on the parole board. They all agreed that because of his good behavior, he will not pose a threat to the community outside, that he will be granted parole. One of the things that he can do, he can drink, but he can't drink in excess. He did get approval to move to Florida to be with his family. His children live down there. Also, Megan mentioned, and it's something about him being able to visit.
It's likely that he'll be able to visit or be able to his wishes will be granted of going to Florida. And it did, this report, I was just listening to it on Good Morning America, that his plan, this is according to the family, when he gets to Florida, is to play golf with his friends and family, and also visit the grave sites of his deceased daughter and Nicole Brown Simpson. Which to us, it's, again, he was acquitted in the criminal case, found guilty, correct?
Yes.
In the civil
case,
civil
found
case.
guilty.
So, but people were shocked by this because it's like, wait a minute, everyone is like, no, but you did this, O.J. Simpson. Why are you going to go visit his gravesite? But his whole claim is that he did not do it,
and he was acquitted. So during yesterday's parole hearing, his oldest daughter spoke on his behalf. Also, one of the men that he robbed in the Vegas incident spoke and said, me and OJ are friends. He's a better man. He's not who you think he is. He should be set free.
And then turned to him, right, and said something along the lines of, if you were to get out today, I'll be here for you.
Yeah, I'll be here for you.
And so, that's when OJ got emotional.
His testimony, in my opinion, was way more captivating than anything his daughter said, and anything OJ said, and anything his lawyer said. The victim's testimony, I think, is what must have sealed the deal, because over the course of the entire hearing, all I kept hearing from analysts is, what is his lawyer doing? Reading a letter about how great he is. It's too, self-centered.
Why is OJ going back to the robbery case and trying to defend himself? That's over. He needs to stay out of that. He needs to be more humble. He needs to be this and that. My reaction was, I am not shocked at the way OJ's handling this, because that's OJ Simpson as we know him. So the fact to me that he wasn't trying to be something that he's not was more believable to me. But I'm not an expert analyst, but that's just as a viewer what I saw, and then it's going to be up to those on the Nevada parole board to decide, and they all were in favor. They all had the same opinion.
So now he's going to be released in October, likely. So what do you guys think? I mean, first of all, to hear that he could potentially go back to the gravesite of Nicole Brown
let's go back
Smith,
to that.
That makes me cringe. I understand that he was acquitted of that verdict in that guilty charge. He clearly walked away innocent from that trial many years ago. But as the family of Nicole Smith, you know that, or Simpson rather, I'm sorry.
Keep saying
Nicole.
Gosh.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
As the family of Nicole Simpson, the civil case was he was guilty. So if I'm the family, that does not make me feel very good on the surface.
Right.
I don't like that.
And then one of our viewers, Cherie Hype, said, good morning, what daughter's gravesite? If I'm not mistaken, one of his daughters from his first marriage died in a swimming pool. She drowned in a pool, if I'm not mistaken.
I can look that up.
So, yes, he does have children from a previous marriage. That was one of the daughters who spoke yesterday at the parole hearing. And then he has children with Nicole.
That was Arnell Simpson yesterday.
Right. So, I'm more interested to see as far as his financial situation, because yes, he has the pension, and yes, he gets money because he was in the NFL. Because if you don't know, you're watching and you weren't around back in the day, OJ was an amazing football player, so he does get pension money from that.
$20,000 a month.
Exactly, but he still owes the Goldman family a lot of money because he lost the civil case. So any money that he makes gets kicked back to that family. So I'm interested to see if OJ is just going to chill out, or if he is going to start generating additional income, because keep in mind, we have documentaries on top of movies and TV shows that are about OJ, about the situation, about the case. So if he's getting any money from that, if he's going to pursue any money from that, that's the question.
And that's my question. Could he with his lawyer go back and try to say that his name was used and all the money made he should get a percentage of, blah, blah, blah? I mean, is that legally? I don't know. Yeah. But I could see that happening, because what are the chances at 70 years old? One, he's going to want to work again at 70, and two, he's going to get a job based on his name and who he is. And where would he get a job without it being maybe a distraction in the workplace? I mean, there are ways to make money now, but I'm curious to see if his lawyer's going to step in and go, look, you may be into some royalty money here. Let's see what we can do.
Right. I've been seeing a couple of rumors and speculations, just people predicting. A lot of people are saying they think he's going to end up on Dancing with the Stars.
Okay.
Because Dancing with the Stars, they reach out to everybody. I wouldn't be surprised if they reached or will be reaching out to the Jews. So a lot of people are saying he's going to start doing the reality circuit, and then kind of, kickstart it, because he did look fairly young. He was a youthful 70-year-old.
I mean, yesterday when I saw him come out, I thought, wow, he looks much different than when we saw him last. Had lost, what they said, 70 pounds. 70 years old during the hearing. Did you hear when one of the
called him 90?
Called him 90, and then he started to chuckle. And at that point, that's when I was like, okay, it was really tense when it first started.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch back in the 90s during that 8-month trial. I was not old enough to know and understand what was going on, so I don't recall what that experience was like. But I've heard so many stories over the years now that I'm in journalism, and I think we got a little taste of it yesterday when during this parole hearing, which isn't, they don't always air these, right? That's not that's not common. But the fact that it was like the live streams everywhere, all over social, I found myself at home glued to the television. And I know Tamron Hall, personality journalist out there, she had tweeted that she was at an airport yesterday when the hearing was on television, and she goes, whoa, this is like a flashback to the 90s. Everyone's at a standstill. Everyone's staring at the screens. People are willing, she goes, I just overheard someone, people are willing to miss their flight to wait after what happens in deliberations. So it didn't take long. They had predicted 30 to 40 minutes, and that's about how long it was. Then just that smile on his face after kind of rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Others are saying, well, he was acquitted back in the 90s. We thought he'd get parole because he's been such a great jailmate.
Right. And a big argument that many people have been talking about leading up to this hearing is that he was given a very, very, very long sentence for the crime that he committed. And people thought that he was being punished for the lack of not being found guilty back in the 90s with the Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman case. So many people thought that the judge at the time, the public defenders and all the people who were involved got it wrong this time around by saying, okay, well, he was released before when he maybe shouldn't have been in some people's eyes, so now he was given a way longer sentence than he needed for the crime he committed. However, I was listening to CNN driving home yesterday, and the husband of the woman, the prosecutor, I believe, that did choose to put him in jail for 33 years for the crime that he recently committed. The husband of that woman was on CNN and said, I 100% support my wife. Of course, he's going to say that, but he said, this crime does come with a punishment of between 9 and 33 years. So what people are saying that he didn't deserve that much time, technically speaking, kidnapping, the assault, the weapons in the room, all the things that happened, it was the perfect storm to have up to a 33-year sentence. He was given the highest punishment, but again, a lot of people thought that it was just based on his previous experiences. So
we shall see.
All right, we will see what happens. We'll see if the October 1 release will happen. That's right around the corner. And then they do say, we reported this yesterday, that he does have a sister that lives here in Northern California. So there's a possibility that if given and if granted this, he'd go to Florida and then potentially come up here at some point, buy a home or live with his sister, which will all be so interesting.
This kind of reminded me of, though, was the Casey Anthony case. Granted, much different storyline here, but when she was found not guilty for killing her little daughter, Casey, or Kaylee, rather, she went into hiding. She changed her identity. She was never really seen in public. And there was a period of time where no one knew where she was. No one knew who she was because she changed the way she looked. I don't see OJ taking that same approach. I think that he likes
and
being
he's like, I've been in the
center of
spotlight
attention a little bit.
Since I was at USC playing football. I've been in the spotlight. This is no different.
Yeah.
And a lot of people chiming in right now really quick. Keisha Brunette says, I think they were doing their jobs by not considering the murder trial. If he was well behaved, he should get the same treatment as anyone else. However, I do think he was guilty of murder and should not have been acquitted, but he was. So a lot of people are kind of in that same on that same wavelength. But we'll see what happens with the Jews.
And Anise says, you have the right to visit your wife's grave. Killer's still on the loose. Where are you at, LAPD? So there's that perspective.
Yeah, thank you for chiming in there.
Yeah.
Okay.